Okay, just me standing between you and John's talk now. Before I want to give my talk, I want to make one little announcement which has to do with this, which is the IU General Assembly. You will have seen that this will be organized next year in South Africa, in August next year. And what we realized is that there are many astronomers working in Africa, and I know several of you work with people from Africa, students, PhD students, postdocs, staff members, who usually cannot attend conferences because they have no money or they can't get a visa or for other reasons. So this GA is going to be in their own continent, and in order to allow the maximum number of African astronomers to go to the GA, either at the end of this week or the beginning of next week, we're opening a travel fund for African astronomers where both individuals and organizations can donate money through a web page that is hosted by LSST Discovery Alliance. And then the money will go to the African Astronomical Society, and they will run a grant program, hopefully allowing many African astronomers to attend the General Assembly in their own continent. So if you want to, can donate, please do. And if your organization or other people you know, other organizations you know can donate, then please also pass this on to them. So I just wanted to squeeze that in. And I know John has a history, I mean, John has so many things in his life, but he has a history of helping people in disadvantaged circumstances. So I assumed he wouldn't mind that I just squeezed this in for a minute.
Yeah, well done.
So, thank you. So here's the talk. Galaxies, Tenerife, and John. These are three topics that are important in my life. There are also other things that are important in my life, luckily, but these are three. And I just put some pictures there of these three things. And John, of course, the picture was taken by, I don't know if it was taken by you, Alex, but it was at your conference a few weeks ago. So this is the beginning of my story with John. In 1988, I visited the IAC because I happened to be in La Palma. And then I actually went to the IAC because Pepe Vilches in La Palma told me that I should go to La Laguna because I would like the marcha here. I did, so thank you, Pepe. I was also looking for a PhD position at the time. So once I got to the IAC, several people said, oh, just go there. This is another foreigner, talk to him. So I went to John's office, and that was the start. So John applied for and managed to get a European fellowship, which funded me for the first 2 years. And in the end, that allowed me to come, obviously, and I did a PhD at the University of La Laguna, under joint supervision by John and Piet van der Kruijt from Groningen. So here we see Pepe, of course, John in his favorite weekend attire, and Piet van der Kruijt. And there's an interesting intermezzo, something that Raphael just sent to me, during the tea break, I think, so I just squeezed it into my talk. I didn't realize at the time that this put me in a very respectable academic family. So here's what I think Jose Caballero found out for Raphael, and he sent it to me. There's a direct line from Newton to John Beckman, which is 15 steps. And I don't know if you can read it, but Isaac Newton is at the top left, and he trained research scientist Jean-Théophile Desaguliers, etc. And it goes on. There's a lot of Leiden names there for some reason. Utrecht goes down here. So it goes back to University College London, Cambridge, Percy Snow, Sutherland, Donald Blackwell, Oxford, we're now in Oxford, Michael Frank Ingham, and there's John Beckman. So this is 15 steps from Newton to Beckman. But of course this is interesting for people like me and Raphael and Cassiana and so, because 15 steps to John, that's 16 steps for us, and the others, 17 steps to you guys, so this is all cool. But it doesn't stop here, because there's also Galileo to Beckman in 16 steps. So Galileo trained grad student Castelli, etc., etc. This goes down all the way, Bologna, lots of Italians there. Then it jumps to Munich, Heidelberg, Göttingen, Leipzig, across to London, Cambridge, Sutherland, Blackwell, Ingham, and Beckman. So I thought this was interesting, and thanks, Raphael, for sending this on. I guess did you know this, John?
No.
No, you didn't?
No.
Okay, this is my PhD. Was on star formation patterns in spiral arms. This was done with Jordi Sepa, and we studied how the star formation efficiency varies along spiral arms. Density wave theory predicts a lower efficiency of star formation near dynamical resonances. So finding these areas of low star formation efficiency might be a way to detect and locate the resonances. So this was the idea. The problem is that you need relatively high spatial resolution observations in both H-alpha star formation and the gas traces H1 and H2. And high in this context is about 15 arc seconds. And it really means not single pointing for one galaxy, so one observation for a galaxy. But we need to be able to resolve the spiral arms, both across the spiral arms and the spiral arm and the interarm regions. So that was a problem, and to solve it, John sent me to wherever we could get observing time. In H-alpha, we used WHT with Taurus that we just saw, the same Taurus that does the Fabry-Perot. We could also use it for H-alpha imaging. For H1, we used the VLA, and we used Westerbork in the Netherlands. H2 through CO was the most complicated. So we used the IRAM 30 meter, and I went to CEST in La Silla, and I went to JSMT in Hawaii, so it's had very positive aspects, all this. And none of this, of course, was simple. We encountered all kinds of problems, but we did find something. So this is, do you have a pointer, I think? Yes. So this is, yes. So this is the ratio of star formation efficiency, arm versus interarm, along the spiral arms. Here, this is one arm and two arms. And you see that there are indeed peaks and troughs. So at certain positions, there's a lower star formation efficiency in the arm compared to what's around it. And we could identify those with the inner Lindbergh resonance, co-rotation, outer Lindbergh resonance. So we did find those. We also found, this was in M51. We also found something in M100, because we didn't find it in any more galaxies because it was just too hard to do at the time. Here's the paper. This is 1992, one of my first papers. Me, John, and other people. Of course, now, Miguel, you can just do this in an afternoon, right? With your data. Where's Miguel? There. I mean, you've got better data than this for many galaxies, but at the time, this was really quite hard to do. We also did other things. We looked at dust. This already came up. Rainier put this in. This is actually my first paper. It had nothing to do with my PhD. It's not even in my thesis, but it is my first paper. And we did it while we were here, just brainstorming, and we realized that this is a Sombrero galaxy. We didn't use this image, we wish. We didn't have anything like this. And what we realized that if you take a cut through the dust lane, basically from top to bottom here, the underlying non-dust lane part is extremely symmetric. That's this line here. This little bit here, that's just the other side flipped over. And that's extremely symmetric, so you can just subtract it. And then you get the profile of the dust lane, which is this, and you can do that in different bands, and then you suddenly have an extinction law, a dust extinction law. So that was fun. We just did this and wrote this in a little paper and did it for a few more galaxies. But here I start a little intermezzo. This is from that paper, right? 30 plus years of progress. Rainier was involved, Rainier Pelletier, because he was in the States, and he had access to an infrared array, which at the time was very new. But look at this. So this is 1987. It was observed, JH and K bands, a 62 by 58 pixel INSB array on a 1.3 telescope. This was groundbreaking. This was really new at the time.
This was commissioning, I think.
Commissioning data, even, right? So blah, blah, blah. And this is in the optical. CCD images of the JKT in 4 bands. Right, there we go, 1987, an RCA CCA chip. 318 by 512 pixels, that was huge. The image scale 0.41, so just calculate that, it's tiny. Guys like Pablo and so, this is what we had at the time. Right. But then we had a problem, filter leak, blah, blah, blah. I had to do it all again, service time, did it again. Okay, this was 30 years ago. And now, we got this. You may have seen this today. This is a Euclid press release today. I scheduled myself in this afternoon because I knew this was coming today. So here we go. This is Euclid. This is IC342. This is what we get now. This is infrared and optical imaging. This is absolutely spectacular. It's superb spatial resolution, much better than we had at the time. The field of view is many times bigger. Everything is fantastic. This is just absolutely amazing image. So just show you the other ones that were released. 5 images were released. This is the Perseus cluster. You can see this all over the place. IEC has a press release, others. So this is the Perseus cluster, full of nice galaxies. I'm going to zoom in on this little one here that you probably can't even see for where you're sitting. So this little galaxy here, zoomed in just from the JPEG image. Looks like this. This is just a JPEG. I haven't seen the FITS files yet. This is just a JPEG. So that's all on there. And then, of course, in here you see all kinds of stuff. There's low surface brightness stuff. There's high redshift galaxies, free-floating brown dwarfs, whatever. Everything will be in here. So this is, which one is this? NGC 6822, an irregular galaxy. Again, all kinds of stuff. Look at this purple stuff here. This is probably star formation remnants or supernova remnants or whatever. Superb resolution. This is a globular cluster. I mean, it's just amazing. And here's the Horsehead Nebula. This is one of the 5 images that was released, and this one was led from the IAC. Eduardo Martin proposed this as an early release image, so here it is, and again, absolutely stunning. So that's the end of the intermezzo. I just wanted to squeeze this in. I knew it was coming. That's 30 plus years of progress, John. We also did other things. So I just showed you the dust that we did as an aside. We also looked at H2 regions. So this is an H2 region map that we made from H alpha, and then we plotted the luminosity functions just by measuring how bright these things are and plot them arm versus intra-arm. You get these straight lines, which is just luminosity functions, arm, intra-arm. So we did this. This was part of my thesis because it came out of the H alpha imaging. And it's funny that we're still doing these things. We had a summer student this summer doing this, of course on 100 galaxies or so in HSD data, but same kind of stuff. Nuclear rings came out as well. This is just after my thesis, but it was based on these H alpha images that we got during my thesis to do the spiral arm work. So we got this and combined it with modeling, etc., and I got a permanent job out of that, so that was handy. So there's me at the JKT at some stage, about 2002, I think. The lines of research we worked on, I realized while preparing this talk, is quite interesting. And some of those lines, of course, John was already working on. Some others, I think we just invented in those years, or probably John invented rather than me, I think. They led to a lot more research and quite a lot more theses of some of the people in the room, of John's students, my students, others. For instance, the H2 region statistics, we did a lot of work on. Dust in galaxies, Rainier mentioned that already. Radio profiles of emission we did, and of course we heard that as well. The whole barred galaxies line, I think really took off after M100, which we took in my thesis. Nuclear rings then took off after that, and Sebastian has done a lot of work on nuclear rings, and then from nuclear rings we got to inner rings and outer rings, etc. Resonance locations, you've heard a few times already. John gave a talk, Miguel, so that's there. Torres Fabi-Perot, we just heard about, galaxy dynamics, etc., etc. So it was an exciting time then and after. So according to ADS, I've published 34 referee papers together with John, which is okay. It's a good number. What I think is more impressive is that if you look this over time, and I didn't know Rainier was doing the same kind of analysis, but if you look over time, we really haven't stopped. We just kept going, right? This is thesis, and after the thesis, we collaborated more intensely. But we kept going, and you just heard Pablo speak about John's latest paper, which is one of these here, right? And it's also, if we were a person with our joint papers, we could probably apply for a postdoc position somewhere, because we'd have 34 papers and an H index of 25. So people have actually cited these numbers. Anyway, so this is a sort of sciencey bit I wanted to say. I'm just going to show a few photographs that I found lying around with John on them. So here's one slide. So this is John around 1992 eating.
Take it off.
Say again?
I can't stand that one.
No, no, you couldn't stand it at the time either. These two at the tower in Toronto, so we were really high up, and there's a glass floor in it or whatever. It was quite scary, but John, we did have a good time there. And this was in Tenerife during my thesis time. And then we have this one. I really like this picture. This was, and John was at my home in Welwyn Garden City in the UK, where I had a job at the time. John visited, and Jaime was around, and he played with my son because they're exactly the same age. Two was in a few months, and they're still friends. But I really like this picture. And then we got this one again with Jaime. This was in South Africa, and this looks like a really nice family picture. What the picture doesn't show is this was a very scary experience. Do you remember this, John?
Yeah.
Because there was this elephant who, for some reason, was really upset. I think it was our driver. But we had to pass the elephant. And after a standoff of at least half an hour, it was decided that the only way to break the standoff was that we would sort of drive at the elephant very slowly and then drive past him and then continue. But for this plan to succeed, we all had to be completely silent. And you see, Jaime wasn't quite at an age there that he would easily be silent. He was about, how old was he there? He was about 4, I think. 4.
Yeah.
So this was the...
He shouted, "It's a big elephant!"
yeah. So it was a big elephant.
Yeah.
Right, and you see this thing, we could have touched it from the Jeep. So anyway, this was...
Maybe you, John could have said something to convince the elephant.
I don't think the elephant was in the mood.
And it was a she-elephant anyway.
Oh, it was a she-elephant.
Yeah.
Even worse, maybe. So here's another picture at the same conference. I forgot who this little blonde chap is. It's an Italian father, I think, I remember.
Yeah.
Do you know? Is it Molaros or something? Paolo Molaros?
No, an Italian guy, but not
Yeah.
somebody
Anyway,
I've met since.
yeah.
A nice guy.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's not my child and it's not John's child. And we both wear ties, which is quite unique. And
The tie is unique.
Thank you. So there's John. I mean, this is how we should have put that chair here for the whole meeting. This is, that's John. And here's a few more. This was during the Eclectic Conference that we had 15 years ago in the south of Tenerife. And in full eclectic fashion, John didn't wear a tie while he gave his talk. He just wore shorts and a t-shirt. So great. And then just to finish this up, thank you, John, for everything. We've done a lot of things together, as colleagues, as friends, but thank you very much for all those years. So I finished my presentation, but I have a little surprise, which, let's see if I can get that to work.
Oh?
Where's my mouse? It is.
One minute I ¿Qué tal? Soy Ana, te mando este vídeo desde el Observatorio de Calar Alto en Almería. Me da muchísima pena no estar allí contigo celebrando este momento tan especial, aunque como sé que habrá muchos más, me lo guardo para el siguiente. John, eres una persona muy singular, muy especial, muy inteligente. Me encanta seguir discutiendo contigo sobre alabeos, truncamientos y sobre todo lo que haga falta, porque además es que sabes un montón. Tú sabes que para mí ha sido como un segundo dire. Mi gran director ha sido Eduardo Bataner y tú eres su gemelo inglés. Tengo muchas ganas de volver a verte. Aquí estoy en la península esperándote para un gran abrazo. Disfrutad mucho.
Yo lamento mucho no poder estar hoy ahí para celebrar junto con los colegas y amigos tus 60 años de dedicación a la astrofísica. Que bueno, no sé si 60 o 120, porque a mí no me salen las cuentas con la cantidad de cosas y tan variadas que has hecho a lo largo de tu carrera. Así que muchas felicidades, John. Muchas gracias por tu generosidad científica y humana, por tu dedicación a la ciencia, de la cual espero que podamos seguir disfrutando durante mucho tiempo más, no solamente por nosotros, sino también por ti, porque creo que la astrofísica y la ciencia es algo que va unido de forma muy natural a ti, pero también por la astrofísica en general, por la investigación. Y bueno, son muchísimas las cosas que hemos aprendido de ti. Solo por enumerar algunas de las primeras cosas que aprendí de ti, pues diría que la mezcla de las papas fritas con café con leche puede ser una mezcla interesante. También aprendí de ti que al menos allá por finales de los años 90 es posible llegar antes que un correo electrónico desde tu despacho al corralón. Me lo demostraste bien. Y que bueno, que da igual en qué lugar del planeta haya una reunión científica o un congreso, que seguramente puedes tener un primo que vive allí cerca. Y bueno, fuera de broma, la verdad que me siento tremendamente afortunada y agradecida de haber sido tu estudiante y tu colega, de haber aprendido de ti. La verdad que considero que los conocimientos, pero también el entusiasmo y la curiosidad que me transmitiste en su día siguen formando una parte muy estructural y siguen siendo el hilo conductor de mi investigación. Seguro que podemos decir todavía muchas cosas interesantes de las regiones H2, John, y espero que podamos hacerlo juntos. Eres todo un ejemplo, así que muchísimas gracias y muchas felicidades.
El eterno amigo John. Nuestras vidas son líneas de universo paralelas, una anclada en La Laguna, otra anclada en Granada, pero a veces nuestras líneas de universo se encuentran, se desplazan y allí se entrelazan, se enmarañan, se abrazan y luego cuesta mucho desatarlas. Pero, en fin, tenemos que volver a nuestros sitios de origen, cada uno a su paralela, para seguir por las líneas de universo, porque en nuestro caso son líneas de universo. Bueno, pues esto me recuerda mucho una vez que te hicimos un homenaje, era una ocasión parecida. Tuve el inmenso honor de ser el maestro de ceremonias y entonces pues allí te pude dar un abrazo personalmente y bueno, fue una ocasión estupenda que nunca olvidaré. Bueno, pues como tengo que ser breve, o mejor dicho, tengo que ser bref, pues entonces, ¿qué haré? Te diría unas palabras cariñosas, pero seguro que tú enseguida empezarías a hacer juegos de palabras con ella y me chafarías las palabras. Y bueno, pues te diría otras cosas, en fin, lo que valoro, tu amistad, pero ya lo sabes, ¿no? Bueno, pues entonces lo que te doy es que te mando un abrazo, no un abrazo cóncavo, sino un abrazo con beso. Digo, un abrazo con cava. Adiós, John, que te lo pases muy bien.
Hi John, hi everybody. I am Nancy Elias. I was a PhD student of John in 2007. I did a PhD on a thermonuclear supernova in an environment with a significant extinction. And it was a PhD, a joint PhD between the University of Padua in Italy and the University of La Laguna. And John was my supervisor in the University of La Laguna. I have a special affection for John because he taught me a lot about us in supernovae, and because we both live in women in that moment and we know many people in common and we share a lot of stories about that. I was thinking in these days something to share with you, and I have a really funny or nice anecdote that I would like to share, and it was during my PhD defense. As you know, people in Italy move a lot of hands, and it is something that I got really fast when I moved to Italy. And I remember that when I did the PhD, it was an international panel, and it was people that asked me questions in English, asked me questions in Italian, or asked me questions even in Spanish. And when I finished, and the panel was deciding the vote, John came to me and looked at me really surprised and said, "This is incredible. You move the hands in Italian, in English, or even in Spanish." So this is something I remember we laugh a lot. I honestly need to confess that I still move a lot of my hand when I speak in whatever language. So finally, I really feel bad because I could not join you, John, in this celebration, special celebration for your 60 years in astrophysics. I had some family issues that I could not join the celebration. But I hope to meet you in the near future, and at the moment, I wish you all the good luck and all the best for the rest of your trip. A big kiss. Bye bye.
Hola John, siento muchísimo no poder estar ahí contigo en estos días, celebrando tus 60 años activos en astrofísica, y quería mandarte un abrazo muy grande y darte las gracias por todos estos años, por tanta inspiración científica y sobre todo por ser algo más que un colega de trabajo, por ser un amigo. Un abrazo.
Hi Dad, congratulations on all your achievements. I'm very proud of you as a professional and also as my father. You're a great person, and I'm really happy that they're finally giving you the honors that you deserve. Sending you all my love from the Netherlands, and see you soon.
Hola John, desde Granada queremos felicitarte por tu trayectoria
y mandarte nuestros mejores deseos para el futuro.
Siempre hemos tenido un vínculo muy fuerte, tanto de trabajo como de amistad.
Ya sabes que esta es tu casa.
Te esperamos cuando quieras.
¡Felicidades!